Hello everybody, Flyaway Jay here and welcome to another flight on my Walker Air Transport Nordics tour. Today we're flying flight 21 of 50, which is going to take us from Bergen Flesland Airport, Echo November Bravo Romeo, on the western coast of Norway, all the way over to Geilo Airport, Dagali, Echo November Delta, India. Today we're flying the Beechcraft Model 17. As always, we're here to learn, to have fun and to share the joy of aviation. Our flight today will be carrying 3 souls on board, 2 passengers and myself as the crew. We're going to be taking off with tanks at 60% full. This is just so we can save some weight. As always, we're flying with live weather, and today I'll be in observer mode on VATSIM, so hopefully we can see and hear some other traffic. The weather today is a typical northern hemisphere winter, so expect some bumps along the way and a difficult arrival into Geilo Airport. It's highly likely that we're going to have very low visibility today, so we're going to try and stay below the clouds and stick to our VFR rules as much as possible. Today I'll be using FS Realistic Pro that I purchased for myself, so let's try that out. If you like my videos and would like to support the channel, please like and subscribe. Every like and every subscription is really appreciated. As always, if you would ever like to join me on a flight, send me a message and let's fly together. Without further ado, let's jump in the cockpit and get this flight going. Alright, first things first, we'll just clean up the cockpit a bit, take away some of these things because they tend to get in the way with startup. I don't really think this aircraft has too much of a lighting system, so we're going to have to struggle a little bit with the dark. First thing we want to check is the parking brake. Make sure that it's set. That's pretty much down here somewhere, I think. Parking brake is that. Yep, we'll set. Throttle, we need to check that it's idle, in the idle position. The landing gear lever is here, and it's down. Flaps are in the up position. We can also visually verify that they're in the up position. Mag switches need to be off. That's this over here. They're in the off position currently. Battery and alternator switch also needs to be off. That's these over here. Master switch is off. And everything else is off. The panel light is on if required. Let's see if I can find a panel light somewhere. I do believe it's down here. That's the dome light and the panel light. We'll just turn them on as we start the aircraft. Fuel selector needs to be on and on the main tank. Fuel quantity we'll check as we get started. That'll be over here, showing us the fuel quantity. Flight controls, we need to check if they're free and correct. So full back, full right, full forward, full left, full back. Flight controls are free and correct. Check the weather. We'll get that once we start up. In fact, if we can see, let me try and see if we can do that. I'll turn on these lights in the interim. This fuel doesn't read anything. It should be 60% full of tanks. Let's quickly turn this on. Avionics. Let's tune to the ATIS. If there is one, there doesn't seem to be. Alright, no worries. Not going to be able to tune into ATIS because it doesn't seem like there is one at this airport. So what we'll do is we'll just turn everything off again. Alright, first thing we want to do is make sure that FS Realistic is in fact running. And there we go. FS Realistic is connected. You'll immediately see that the aircraft looks a bit different. There's a movement in the aircraft, possibly the wind blowing. over the airframe. All right. You can actually hear some cabin noises from FS Realistic. But let's get this aircraft started first. Alright, so what we need to do now is the engine and propeller area must be clear, which it is. Let's open the throttle 1/4 inch, so that should be about there. Propeller should be set for high RPM, which it is. Mag switches will turn on to both.
Clear prop.
Ignition button. Make sure the master switch is on. Okay, we forgot to prime, so let's prime her a little bit. We should do it. Alright, there we go. Throttle will move down to idle. Gonna turn on some lights here so we can see what we're doing. Turn on the generator. Check the oil pressure. Sounds good. Oil temperature's coming up. Fuel seems a bit low. This is the fuel flow actually, as I understand it. Seems fine. Batteries are charging. Suction is working. Looking good. Now what we can do is turn on the navigation lights, rotating beacon, instruments set for normal operation, turn on the avionics, set our score code 2337. There we go, and we'll go into standby mode. Alright, we got a good start on the aircraft. She's looking good. You can hear the wind blowing a bit. I think we're going to try and use this gap to get out of this airport.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard.
Let the cabin attendant do the briefing. Okay, before taxi checklist, just want to make sure the pitot heat's on. Landing lights don't need to be on now. All is well. Alright, passenger briefing is complete. So what we're going to do now is just take a quick taxi to the left and use the intersection to line up with the runway. We're going to be taking off in a northerly direction, just because it looks like the wind is howling from that direction at the moment. So, let's get going. Parking brake off, and let's roll forward. It's a very powerful aircraft, this. Strong engine. Just need to hold short here.
No, sorry, it's the Scandinavian Positive 5.
If you have any questions, please ask myself or another crew member. We hope you enjoy your flight.
Okay, ready for departure. So flaps are down.
Scandinavian 4035. Yeah. Geilo reaches 12 Monaco Scandinavian Positive 5, Unicom, have a good day.
All right.
One 122.8, Papa.
Power set. And release the brakes. We're looking for 35 knots. And there we go. Lifts it off. Landing gear up. And flaps are up. Come back on the power a little bit. And set heading for Geilo Airport. A little bit bumpy as anticipated. Landing lights can come off. Gonna be an interesting route today. There'll be some weather. Turn the fuel pump off, pitot heat must stay on. And we're on our way. I don't think we'll be able to hit 5,000 feet today, but let's see how we can do. Bit of rain in the area. So what we'll do is fly directly towards that valley and kind of just readjust our route as we go. Shouldn't be too long a flight. But we're doing good. Please don't be a crash. Ah, there we go. That was just an incredibly long stutter. You can see some ice forming on the windshield. Not exactly ideal, but it's actually okay. Add some cabin heat. Definitely icing a bit on the windshield. Let's have a look at what she looks like outside. Looking really good so far. I don't really notice any ice. Maybe a little on the tail. Just going to use this valley. Just got to be mindful there is some wind blowing in the area, so it might get a slightly bit bumpy across here. Alright, setting course for 090 or 085, correction, 095. Gonna try climb over these mountains. This is not ideal weather for flying, but what we're trying to do is do this tour, and the point is to fly with live weather for me. Just gonna try and fly a bit higher here. $5,000 feet. There we go. Just gonna set her up for the cruise.
$1,000.
1,000 foot above the surrounding terrain. Pretty low. We'll fly towards that valley a little bit. Once we're over these high mountains. There's some power lines just to be mindful of down here. Really icing up quite badly now. And what we're going to do is just follow these fjords, or these lakes, towards Geilo Airport. There we go, a little bit more visibility. Not a whole lot of anti-icing features on this aircraft. Alright, we're just going to follow this lake all the way to its end. Icing is becoming really problematic right now. What a beautiful plane. You can see the extent of the ice that's building up on the aircraft, even around the prop spinner. But she's doing just fine. Looks like ski slopes over the side. About 62 nautical miles to go. A little bit crazy how iced up we're getting here. Feel like the icing has improved. Just want to sit a little bit higher up so you can see a bit better. What a beautiful plane. I know I've said it so many times, but honestly. Airspeed is looking good. Engine temperatures and pressures are good. Now it's just a case of following this lake. It's getting a little bit bumpy. Okay, with clear skies above, I'm gonna actually try and climb a bit. Trying to get out of these bumpy areas. It's 4,000 feet. Pretty bumpy. Really covered in quite a bit of snow. But we should be clear of the mountains by now. So where we're headed is pretty much over here somewhere. Just want to aim the nose in the right direction again. Pretty much due east. Using the semicircular rule, if you're flying in an easterly direction, you have to fly at odd altitudes, so 7,900. But if you're flying VFR, you add an extra 500 feet usually on top of that. So we should in theory be at 7,500, which is where we headed. I'll level off there. It's just to help provide minimum separation between aircraft traveling in different directions. And there we are almost. Just gonna try level off here a bit. That should do it. Ice in the cruise. I think the icing is starting to improve a little bit. Okay, so directly below us should be a road that we can follow, but as you can see, it's a bit hard to follow. But effectively we're traveling through this valley. Doing some real visual flight rules flying today. Following roads. Avoiding clouds. Trying to melt off some ice off the plane. We're not too far from our destination. Just going to try and maintain that road as our visual. Maintaining 7,500. Alrighty. Just got some gusts coming off the mountains. Hopefully my passengers are doing okay. Pretty sure they are. I haven't heard any complaints. Icing is starting to look okay, clearing up a bit. This aircraft is so stable, it's almost like it's got autopilot on at the moment. Still got the road on our left here. That's what we're tracking. Oh gosh, not again. This aircraft has some pretty small fuel tanks. You gotta make sure you switch between them every so often. I wonder if there is a valve. What is going on here? Anyways, it happens from time to time. I've gotten pretty used to switching between the two. Unfortunately, when the engine starves of fuel, but it's something that you learn. Not ideal though. Getting very close to our destination now. Basically somewhere over here is where we're headed. Hopefully the airport is visible to us. So while we're still routing there, I might as well tell you a little bit about the airport. Geilo Airport, Dagali is a private airport located in Dagali in Hull, Bergen County, Norway. It was previously a public airport that was both a regional airport and served international tourist charter airlines serving the nearby ski resorts centered on Geilo. The airport opened in 1985 but failed commercially and was eventually closed in 2003. It used to feature a 1,300 or 4,300 foot runway, which was later extended to 1,800 meters or 5,900 feet in 1988. At the moment, it's currently limited to 850 meters or 2,800 feet, which is still usable for private aircraft. There's a little bit of general aviation at the airport, but I think mainly it's quietened down. From a statistics point of view, at its peak in 2002, it used to service just over 8,500 or 9,000 people, passengers per year, which is not a small amount, but it's certainly not a massive airport. Okay, what I'm looking for now is this fjord here. I need to follow that and then pretty much follow it all the way to the next one, which will line us up with the Geilo Airport. Climbing a bit high. Just gives me a bit of an opportunity to descend a bit safely in these mountainous areas. Scenery as always in Microsoft Flight Simulator, looking beautiful. can hear the wind blowing over the airframe. That's all due to FS realistic. Just gonna come back a little bit on the power while we're in this descent. Just a gentle descent so we can lose some altitude without getting too deep into these valleys. But I also don't want to have to do a dive towards the end. From an add-on perspective, I'm using the Freeware Echo November Delta India, Geilo Dagali Airport by FR Christie. Downloaded from flightsim.to. Worth checking it out. Getting very close. And that's the airport right there, I think. I'm just going to start the descent. I'm a little high, but I will do some S-turns. Just to lose some of this altitude. Alright, descent checklist. Radio set, descent speed, descent rate, flaps is up. I'm going to do a couple of more S-turns just to lose some more of this altitude and lose some of this airspeed.
2500.
Okay, before landing checklist, we're going to lock the tail wheel. Very beautiful scenery. Yep, here come the bumps. Just gonna do a runway inspection. Make sure I'm landing in the right direction.
400. 300.
What I'm looking for now is the windsock and the condition of the runway. Okay, we're looking for 45 degrees to the runway threshold. I'm going to try and slow down a bit here. I'm going to stick around to 100. That's where at the point which you can drop your flaps. Landing gear can come down at 80.
1000.
Just going to use this big house or something, the building, as a visual reference for the turn. Carpet can go cold. All right. Need to land a bit long.
200. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Not my greatest landing, but it'll have to do. And here we are. Geilo Airport, Dagali. Actually wonder if I can park at the main terminal building. I think I should be able to. Alternatively, I'll just stop here at the general aviation section. Okay, parking brake is on. Flaps are retracted. Transponder is off. Let's shut her down. Parking brake set, throttle idle, nav lights can come off. Navigation lights, mag switches go off. Fuel flow cut off. Off. And off. Beacon light can come off. Panel lights can come off. Generator off. Pitot heat. Avionics off. Master switch off. Alright, and there you have it. Welcome to Geilo Airport, Dagali. You can see the wind is blowing it around a bit. As I've learned in these Nordics, the wind is definitely something you need to contend with, or the weather at least. But that was a wonderful flight. Thank you so much for joining me. Drop a comment in the comment section below if you want to suggest what I should fly next. The route that we'll be taking is also somewhere in Norway, moving further north. But thank you so much for flying with me. I really appreciate it. If you like what I'm doing, add a comment, like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. But anyways, thank you so much. Flyaway J is out. Peace.